Are you looking for a Scrum Master job? If so, then you are in the right place. Agile community is the only place that is a one-stop resource for you to help you land your first Scrum Master job. Not only can you watch our videos and learn from our videos and all the unlimited resources that this community gives you, you can also join our free WhatsApp group from the link down below in the description of every video. Not only that, you can even join our mentorship programs in which we place you on a live project where you learn on-hand job skills. If you don't have any experience, this is the best place to learn how to become a Scrum Master with a live on project. And you can share that in your resume as well. If you're a person who's looking for a Scrum Master job and you don't have any experience, get in touch with me, join our mentorship program, and you will learn live on an actual project by being an actual Scrum Master. Nobody does that. Nobody can do that for you. I'm the only person that can help you land your first Scrum Master job. Not only that, if you're looking for a SAFe certification, join our community and I'll also help you get your SAFe certification. There's extra charges for that, but you can get your SAFe certification also through the Agile Core community. This community, this resource is your only solution. If you don't have any experience and you're looking for a Scrum Master job, this is your only place. I'm the only person that can help you. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to the video. What is going on, guys and girls? Welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to discuss an interesting scenario. This scenario came from a real Scrum Master who's working as a real person in the industry, and she's facing an interesting dilemma. So she just joined a company. She didn't have a lot of experience before she joined the team, and now she joined the team. The team is facing a lot of challenges, a lot of issues. Basically, what's going on is that the team has not been able to meet their sprint goal, not been able to meet their project deadlines for a very long time, due to which the team is attracting a lot of negative attention, right? And she's joining as a new Scrum Master, so she has a lot on her shoulders. She has a lot of expectations she has to meet from the management as well as from people, from her team herself. They are counting a lot on her. Now, situation is that the team is not being able to meet their project deadline or their sprint goal from a very long time. And now this new Scrum Master just joined the company from the last 2 weeks, and now still the team is getting worse and worse and worse. The results are not getting better. Now, how will she handle this situation, right? That's the scenario. How will we handle this situation? What will we do in this situation? We are going to do a deep dive on this situation. We are going to do a deep dive on this scenario and see if we can give her some tips to help her out and kind of, guide her in her journey to become a better Scrum Master. Now, before we dive into it, guys, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you find value out of this channel. If you are someone who's looking for a Scrum Master job, then you are in the right place. Click on the link down below, set up a mentorship with me, and I would love to help you out in your Scrum Master journey, and I'm probably the only person that can help you out, right? Now, with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So, first of all, when we talk about this situation is good for a person who doesn't have a lot of experience, who's joining a new Scrum team. Great situation for that person. This video will be very helpful for you. But someone who's aspiring to become a Scrum Master, right? Someone who wants to become a Scrum Master, this situation is a very fruitful situation for that person as well. That is the number one thing. Now, the second thing is that for a new Scrum Master who has been placed in such a role where the team is not meeting their project deadlines and the team is facing a lot of challenges, one thing you have to understand, this is a very rewarding situation for any Scrum Master to be placed in. This is a very rewarding situation because you can learn a lot from it, you can gain a lot from it, you can gain a lot of perspective, you can gain a lot of eyesight in the eyes of your management. You can gain a lot from this situation. Your team is not able to meet their project deadlines. What do you do now? The onus is on you. How do you perform, right? That's the situation we are going to discuss today. Now, this situation, same situation, can be asked in an interview in many different ways. One of the ways this can be asked in an interview is that how to build a high performing team, right? How do you build a team that's performing really, really well? How do you build a team that's able to meet their sprint goal, that's very efficient, that's very productive using the Scrum process, right? Or it can be asked, how have you motivated your team in the past, right? That can also be an interview question that can be asked from this scenario, right? Now, with those things out of the way, let's discuss this scenario. Let's see how we can help this girl out, and let's see, how we can help her on her journey by some of the things that I have noted down over here in my notepad, and I'm going to write them down on the board as well, and we'll go from there. Okay. As we discussed, this is a very tough but a very rewarding situation. Now, before we get started, you have to do two things, right? You have to, before she gets started, she has to do two things, right? Number one thing is cover your back, right? That's the number one thing we're going to do. Cover your back. Now, what do I mean by cover your back? What I mean by cover your back is that Have expectations clear with the management. Explain to them clearly that this is what's going on. You have not been able to meet your sprint goal. You have not been able to meet your project deadline, right? And there is a lot of change that you are trying to implement. You will be trying to implement in the next few months. So there will be a lot of resistance that might come up from some team members. So just be ready. Just be aware. Just be patient with me. Just be comfortable with me making changes, right? Make it clear, right? Make your stand clear that you are seeing a lot of things and you want to improve a lot of things, and there can be a lot of resistance that might be coming in from multiple ways. So make that clear to your management. Cover your back. Let them know that this is what's going on. This is what you're trying to implement. This is what you're trying to improve maybe in the future. And there's a lot of things that might happen. There can be a lot of moving parts. Cover that with your management, right? Make them aware of what you are trying to do and what you're trying to implement. Number one. Second thing that you will do is be patient, right? What do I mean by be patient? Change in teams takes a long time. It's not a 1 day thing, it's not a 2 day thing, it's not a 1 week thing, it's not a 1 month thing. Sometimes change can take years, right? Changing the teams, changing the organizations can take years and years and years, and it's a very long process, right? It's a very tedious process. You as a scrum master, if you are trying to make this change, you're trying to improve this change, right? You have to think long term. Think in terms of multiple months, right? Think in terms of change long term, things in terms of big change, permanent change, right? Things don't happen quickly. If they're happening quickly, they're not probably good, right? In teams, in processes, things take time. Change takes time. Mindset changing takes time. Continuous coaching, continuous mentoring, continuous helping. That is what you have to do here. So it will take time. So be patient with yourself, be patient overall, right? Be patient with people, be patient with the process, right? Those are the two things you can do. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty. Why do team performance issues happen, right? That's what we need to understand. Why do they happen? There are multiple reasons why team performance issues arise, right? There are multiple reasons. So, first of all, these two things are clear. Cover your back and be patient, right? This next thing we are going to do is, why do these things happen in a team? Let's try to. So, why do these things happen? Number one is individual related issues, individual problems with people. Some people are just crazy, some people are cuckoo, you can't do anything about it. Some people are very resistant, some people have a skill set gap, some people have expectation gap, some people have a lack of motivation, right? There are a lot of issues, so you have to write those down. The number one issue that team problems arise is individual problems with individuals in the team, right? That's what we are going to write down. Okay. Number one problem is individual problems with individuals' expectations, their motivations, right? What are they thinking? Their skill set gap. The problem with in remote world, people sometimes they don't they give the stand up and then they're offline all day. They're always sleeping all day. What can you do about it? So those are the issues that you have to analyze first, right? The first thing that is individual problems. The second thing that team problems happen, the problems and these project deadlines not being met. Second thing that the reason is team related problems, and we'll dive deeper into each of them. Team related problems. That's the second thing. Okay. Now, the third thing that team performance issues happen, or how do you build a high performing team, right? The third thing that you will analyze is, and this is can be somewhere the straw that broke the camel's back, right? The third thing is management related problems. Now, this is the caveat here. Management related problems. We'll get into it. Hold on. Management related problems. Now, as a Scrum Master, individual problems you can counter, you can analyze, you can observe, you can write them down, you can analyze them, you can think about it, you can work on it. Team level problems that are process related problems, you can think, you can analyze, you can work on it, you can improve them, right? Very easy to do that. Management level problems. there is a limited things that you can do as a Scrum Master when it comes to management, right? There's a limited things that you can change when it comes to problems related to the management level. Hopefully you guys can hear me clear and loud. Management level problems, there are limited things you can do as a Scrum Master to resolve management level problems, right? What you can do is you can diagnose them, you can bring a highlight on them that this is what's going on, this is what we need to improve, instead of pinpointing anything, instead of blaming anything, instead of getting into all that politics. You can bring those to light indirectly in some way, shape, or form, but directly there is limited things you can do when the problem is related to management, right? Now, with individual and team level, right? I always say in my videos, there are three things that make up a team: people, process, product. Product is the responsibility of the product owner. People and process are the responsibility of the Scrum Master. So individual is people. The team level is process related problems, team related problems, right? So you are improving people and process. Okay, so that's what we are going to get into now. Now, number one is individual, right? What are the problems that can happen on an individual level, right? Multiple things, right? Potential skill gaps. Some individual might not know cloud, right? But now they have to work in cloud, right? Because the environment is changing, and they have been working on different skills other than cloud, so they don't know cloud, right? So you don't have any skills that are cloud related, but that individual is just winging it, watching something, doing something, right? But there is a certain skill gap there that just is not being able to be fulfilled by that individual. Now you need to work on it. Once you have analyzed it, you need to work on it. You need to figure something out, have one-on-one with that individual, see how you can improve that skill gap, right? Get an acknowledgement that there is a skill gap, and then see how you can improve that skill gap, right? Second thing, expectations. Some people, they have expectations from a process. Things should be like this, right? Things should be this way, or things should be this way, things should be this way, you should be this way, you should be this way, right? There are expectations that some individuals have with the process, with their team, the place they work at, maybe the money they make, something, right? Those expectations need to be heard. They don't need to be resolved or addressed. Sometimes you just need to hear them out. Sometimes they just need someone to listen to them, right? Those are the other thing, expectations, right? That's very important as well for some team individuals. If not, performance is not there. Third thing, motivation. Some team members are not motivated to do things, right? There is no motivation. There is lack of motivation. Okay, maybe they are doing things, but they are not up to the par because of lack of motivation. Maybe they are not even doing anything at all because there is no motivation, right? So motivation is a very important thing that you need to see, observe, and analyze. If it's present in any of your team members, then you need to tackle it head on. How do you tackle it head on? Not by being aggressive or being confrontational. In some places there is a place for that, but not in situations like this. How you will tackle it head on: observe, analyze, one-on-ones, right? How can you motivate this team member? Why is it motivation lacking? What's the reason behind the lack of motivation? Is it health reasons, personal reasons, something or the other? Okay. The fourth thing is that, like during the remote world, I mentioned people are just, they just log in, they do the stand up, and then they're absent all day. Right? You need to analyze that. Who are the people actually doing that? Why is this not? Why are people doing that? Who are the people doing that? And you need to understand what they are doing. Maybe they are doing 2, 3 jobs, right? Maybe they are working on multiple projects. Maybe they are doing something else or their personal project, right? You need to understand those things, right? So, individual level problems, observe each person during the team meetings, during the refinement sessions, during the retrospectives, during sprint planning sessions, during the daily scrum calls. Observe each person, analyze each person, what they say. Are they doing what they are saying, right? If they are committing to, like, okay, this is what we are going to do for this sprint, this is what I'm going to finish. Are they finishing that, right? Observe, analyze, take notes, right? And have each person's like profile. Okay, this person this person this person this. Maybe there is a skill gap, maybe there is an expectation gap, whatever it is, right? Observe, analyze, and then work on it. That's individual level problems. They are the easiest to resolve. Okay, they are the easiest to resolve. The second thing, team level problems. Now, team level problems are generally a little bit more complex, a little bit more, that needs a little bit more attention, that needs a little bit more kind of caring, that needs a little bit more babysitting, that needs a little bit more active involvement, so to speak, from a Scrum Master, right? What are team level problems? The team level problems can be multiple, right? The team level problems can range from multiple things. The number one thing that we are going to discuss today is team structure. Okay, team structure. Okay, what is the team structure like, right? What is the team composition like? Is there an imbalance in skill sets? Is there is there like experience lag gap on one side, and is there like one person, one person is taking all the work, or one person is speaking too much, like a tech lead or someone, and other people are not getting an opportunity to participate, right? That can be a team structure related issue, right? That's number one. Let's write it down. So team issues, team structure related issue is number one. Team structure. What's the team structure like? What's the team composition like? What's the team composition of skill sets are? Kind of understanding those. So let's write it down. Team structure. Okay. Now, the second thing that we will discuss in this is team processes, right? What is the process like, right? What is the process they're following, right? Is during the process, is everybody participating, right? Who is comfortable participating, who is not comfortable participating, right? In the team process, is everybody involved, or is just one person talking during the retrospective when you are asking, hey, what did you like, what did you not like? It's just one person giving all the answers. During the sprint planning, hey, is a team picking up their own work, or is one person assigning the work to each person and then picking their own work, and things like that? How is the team process like? What are the ceremonies they are having? Who's participating in those ceremonies? Okay. What's the kind of level of maturity of the team, right, so to speak, right? How is their backlog like? You need to understand these things, right? That comes into team processes. Monitor the team interactions, monitor their behaviors, monitor the team's participations in different ceremonies, monitors the team backlog, monitors the team scrum board, multiple things in the process that you need to analyze. What is their process like? How do they do things? What's their workflow like? How are they picking up things, and how are they doing things? Who is assigning? Is somebody assigning them work? Are they picking it up on their own? Are they clear on their sprint goal? What is going on? Observe and monitor the team processes. Observe and monitor, right? Right now, we're not getting into solutioning. We are just observing and writing it down. What's the issue? Okay. We're going to get into solutions in a little bit, right? But the team processes. What's the team process like? Okay, what is going on, right? Then you need to observe and analyze that, and then you need to understand that. Now, we will write it down. The third thing is, after that, let's write first team process. Now, the next thing after that is team dynamics. What is the level of psychological safety that the team members feel by present within the team, right? What is the level? What are the dynamics within the team, right? Do the team members feel like they feel like a psychological safety to participate, to communicate, to raise their concerns, to speak up during the retrospective, to speak up during the meetings, right? Or is there like a dominant submit this dominant, and then some superior and an inferior kind of complex between the team members, right? Someone is superior, someone is superior, like that kind of thing happening, right? The dynamics of the team, how are they behaving with each other, how are they interacting? So team structure, team processes, and team dynamics. Structure, what's the skill set level like? What's the distribution of skill set? What's the diversity of skill set? Team processes, what their process like? Sprint planning is, sprint retrospective, sprint demo. What's their process like, right? The last thing is team dynamics. What's their dynamic like with each other? How are they working with each other, interacting with each other, right? Psychological safety. How safe do they feel working with each other, right? Now, those are some of the things that you can expect when the team is facing team level problems. Now, the last thing is that management factors, right? That's the most complex part of this puzzle. The easiest is individual, right? People. Second complex is process, right? Improving the process, what ceremonies they are doing, what process they are following, right? The last is management related factors. Management factors, these are the most complex for a scrum master to resolve, analyze, observe, and kind of tackle, right? These are the most complex that you will face, right? Management factors. Okay, so management factors. Now, in the management factors, what can be the issue is that sometimes what the management wants, like let's say the management wants to build a paper aeroplane, right? But the team is building a boat, right? They want to build an airplane, they are building a boat, right? So you see the lack of communication there, you see the lack of bridge between the two. The management's perspective on the product is not clear to the team's perspective on the product. They don't match. There is a gap there. There can be a gap due to the lack of product owner skill set. There can be a gap due to lack of communication. There can be multiple reasons, right? There is a gap there. they don't gel well with each other, right? The management wants something, the team is doing something. The management wants something else, the team is doing something. There's a gap there. So you need to understand that if there is a gap, if that is a gap that is existing, then you need to understand that, and you need to kind of work on it that way. That's the number one thing: management and gap between the team members, right? If that is the issue, then you need to, kind of write it down and see if that's the issue, right? The second thing that can be related to management level issue is that strategic direction of the management. Maybe the management is doing something. Maybe the management is in a strategic direction, or maybe the management is kind of thinking of certain things on a management perspective that the team doesn't like, or the team is not happy with, or the team doesn't understand that, right? Again, the gap of communication and things like that. Or the management isn't clear on their own direction, or the management is having their own challenge, lack of leadership, lack of skill set in the leadership, right? Maybe they have their own challenges on their own, that the teams are just autonomous, they can do whatever they want, right? That's the worst place for a team to be in. If an immature team is left on its own, then that's a hellhole, right? They will do whatever they want, they won't work, nothing will happen, right? Nothing will get produced, nothing meaningful will happen, right? Because the leadership is busy kind of in their own bullshit, in their own politics, in their own leadership lack of skills, in their own whatever they're going through, right? If that can be the situation. So there can be multiple situations that are related to management level problems. That's why I said this is one of the most complex problems for a scrum master to be involved in, because as a scrum master, if the management is going through a leadership breakthrough, what are you going to do? What can you do? You can, whatever you're going to do, right? There's limited things you can do, right? You can understand it, you can observe it, but how would you tackle it, right? It's very, very hard. It's a very tricky situation. Who do you reach out to? If you reach out to someone, maybe they can take it a certain way, and then you are in trouble, right? So there's a lot of things that goes into play here. So management level problems are very, very complex problems, and you have to handle them very, very carefully. You have to approach them very carefully. You have to understand things and understand the strategic direction, understand the mindset of the people that you're going to be involved with. So understand the politics, understand the ins and outs of how things work. So management level problems are very complex for Scrum Master to be involved in, right? But they are there. And if they are there, then you need to make sure your team is, we will get into solutioning a little bit later, but your team should be kind of clear on whatever you understand, right? Whatever you are getting, your team is clear. At least you can do that much, right? Instead of worrying about what they're doing. Get their information, make sure you understand it, make sure your team understands it, keep them on the same track with them, keep everything transparent between them and them, and keep them focused on their goal, right? That's the best thing you can do in this situation. But we'll discuss that more in a little bit. So the main thing is that when it's a management level problem, then it's very, very complex, as we already discussed, right? So first thing, once you have found out, right, what is the issue, right? Once you have observed the team structure, the team process, the team dynamics, once you have understood all these things, then you will create a team analysis report for management, right? Team analysis report. What does team analysis report consist of? A team analysis report will be basically laying out what your team is lacking, what your team is doing. Is kind of like a retrospective, but in a report. What your team is doing good, okay? What your team is lacking. What is it that you can improve in your team? Is it the process, the dynamics, the structure? What is it that you can improve in your team, right? Or the things that you are planning to improve in your team, right? What are you trying to do, right? What is it good? What is it lacking? What are you trying to improve in the future? What are you trying to make better, right? Create a team analysis report for your management. Create that report for your management to kind of go over, to understand what's going on, to understand how things are happening and things like that, right? That's number one. Now, the other thing that I learned from one of the YouTubers, his name is Vibhor Chandel, and he's a very fantastic YouTuber, and I learn a lot from him. Whenever I have questions, I go to his channel and learn a lot from him, and this is what I learned specifically from him. And as a Scrum Master, you're always learning, right? It's a learning job. You have always to be learning and always to be getting better, and always to be kind of improving yourself. So this framework I learned from his channel, and I will link his channel down in the description below. His channel, his newsletter, also very helpful. So if you want to be, kind of, give him a shout out or show him love, please go ahead and do that. Fantastic person, very knowledgeable about everything, and I'm a big fan. Okay, so BCOM framework, right? Using the BCOM framework, that's what he suggests, right? So first of all, team analysis report, root cause analysis of what is causing the issues, why are the issues happening, kind of a root cause deep level analysis. of so that you can bring visibility and clarity, and if possible have some data along with it, right? So let's get into solutioning now. Let me get my different marker for that. Let's get into solutioning now. What we will do in solutioning is we will get into deep level analysis of what can be done better, right? What we need to do to kind of resolve these problems. This is the first thing you will do, right? I'm going to create a solutioning board right here. Right here, okay? The first thing that you will do, right? The first thing she needs to do is she needs to create a team analysis report for the management, a root cause analysis of what is actually causing these issues, what is actually happening, why are these issues happening, what is the lack here, and maybe include some data in there, right? I'll write that down as well. Data, right? Stop that. Data is very important. Data will explain to the management that your words cannot explain, right? Data like what the sprint burn down chart or the bug defect ratio, or like something about participation metrics or something, like whatever, right? Whatever data you need to kind of explain to the management, whatever issue we are facing, whether it is individual related, whether it is team related, right? So team analysis report for the management, okay? Ingrain it with data, with charts, with Excel sheets, with information as much as you can to explain to them what is going on, right? To explain to them the root cause analysis of the situation. Okay, that's the first thing you will do in this situation once you have observed, analyzed, whether it's individual level, team level, or management level. Once you have observed those, then you will send out a report to the management explaining those in a team analysis document, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, and okay, very important thing that is mentioned here is that before you share this document with your management, right? Before you share this document with your management, get a buy-in from your team members, product owner, team members, get a buy-in from them. Make sure they are on the same page. Don't do anything like sneaky. Don't do anything behind their back, right? Make sure everybody is clear that you are preparing this document. Make sure they are clear on what you are preparing. Make sure they are in on it. Make sure the product owner is in on it. And then once you have approval from them, then you share it with your management. Okay? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing that you will do, the second framework that you will utilize to resolve your team's sluggishness problems, right? Vibor calls it BCom framework. BCom it also means Bachelor of Commerce, but just to remember easily, BCom framework, right? BCom. So BCom, what do you mean by BCom? So let me write it down first. The second thing that we will do to solve this problem is BCom. And this BCom framework will not cover management level problems. This BCom framework will only cover individual level and team level problems, right? For management level problems, you have created a report, you have shared it with the management, you have observed, like I mentioned in the before like few minutes, right? What do you do in management level problems? You observe and you kind of, try to bring awareness around it and, things like that. Understand, kind of keep your team safe and see what their direction they are going in and kind of keep your team in sync with everything. But you can't like, with management level problems, what is the right word for it? Um, you can't really bite off more than you can chew with management level problems. You have to be kind of aware of things and how things operate and things like that, right? But team level and individual problems can be resolved with this framework that I'm about to share with you, right? It's the BCom framework, right? BCom. What does BCom framework stand for? B stands for benchmark. B stands for benchmark. Now, what do you do? What do I mean by what when I say benchmark, right? Benchmark is something that you need to put your team, like for example, right? Um, let's say let's say I start doing push-ups, right? Let's say I start doing push-ups. I can do 30 push-ups, right? Now, next day when I do push-ups, I can only do more than 30. I cannot do below 30, right? I can do 50, I can do 40, but I cannot do 28. I cannot do 25. I only have to do below over 30, right? Because 30 is the benchmark, right? So that's what I mean when I say benchmark. Benchmark is the term that is used to define the optimal speed the team should work, right? The optimal performance the team should have, the optimal efficiency the team should have, the optimal defects the team should have, the optimal, the optimal velocity the team should have, right? That's called benchmark. So you benchmark something that you need, the information that you need, you benchmark it. Like, for example, let's say you want the team to only perform at certain velocity, right? So you benchmark it. If we are going below this velocity, then it means something is terribly wrong, right? That's what's called benchmarking, right? That's benchmarking thing. And that's the benchmark that the team should work at. That's the optimal speed the team should work at, right? That's benchmark. Now, how you can get a benchmark of like other metrics like the team performance and participation metrics and all these things, how you can get that, the customer satisfaction ratio, whatever it is, you can get it from your other scrum masters in your organization. You can collect that data, how their teams are performing, and then consider that as a benchmark for your team, right? So that's the number one thing. Benchmark the data, benchmark the information, the optimal things that your team should be doing, the optimal metrics that your team should be producing, benchmark those, right? The second thing on this list, number one is benchmarking. Once you have benchmarked all the metrics, all the things that you need your team to do, the second thing that we will do is challenge, right? What do I mean by challenging? Challenging means pushing your team to achieve performance goals. Let's say that you benchmark your team's velocity at 40. Just a simple example, right? Let's say you benchmark your team's velocity at 40. Now, that's their optimal speed that they need to work at. That's their optimal speed that they need to perform at, right? Next sprint or two sprints later, when you see some improvements, when you see that things are kind of filling in and the boxes are kind of filling in, next sprint, you challenge them to do 60 or maybe 50 or maybe 45, right? More than 40, right? More than 40 effort points, more than 40 points, right? That's called challenging the team to do more than what they are currently benchmarked at, than what they are currently doing, right? Challenging them to do more, right? That's the second thing that you motivate your team. That's the second thing that you push your team. That's the second thing you solve individual level problems, right? Now, what do you think challenging makes it, right? For example, let's say, right, uh, let's say that, you know, I say I have to record a video in the next 3 hours, right? It'll take me 3 hours to record that video. If I say that I have to record, I have to hurry, I have to go, I have to meet someone, I have to record a video in the next 1 hour, I'll do that in 1 hour, right? That's called challenging, right? I challenge myself to complete that task in 1 hour. What that will do is it will make me more efficient. It will make me more productive. It will make me more focused. It will make make my brain think more, right? Same thing with the team. When you are challenging, when first you have benchmarked the team, now this is our benchmark, this is how we are going to perform. Second thing, you challenge them. Now you what you mean by challenge is now you're going to say to them, you're going to do 50 effort points, 50 story points in this sprint, right? That's challenging. That's challenging them, right? Now, what that will do is that will improve the team dynamics. They will forget all about personal issues. They will forget all about interpersonal relationships. They will forget all about that. They will be focused on, okay, this is what we are doing. This is what we have to do. How do we do that? That's where their focus will be, right? That's called challenging. Number one is benchmarking. Number two is challenging. How do you challenge your team to do more, right? And once you challenge them to do more, it will help them focus more. It will help them be involved more. It will help them be kind of pushing more. It will help them, forget all about their personal relationships and focus only on the goal, right? That's called challenging your team, right? First you benchmark, then you challenge. Now the third thing that's on this list is that observing, identifying, sharing, and acting. Now, observing. Let me write it down. I'm going to write it in an acronym. OISA. OISA. Observing, identifying, sharing, and acting. OISA. Third thing is OISA. Observing, identifying, sharing, and acting. Right? Now, what do I mean by observing? Get the facts. Observe. Keep an eye on team interactions. See how things are going. Sitting on backlog refinement. Sitting on retrospective. Sitting on daily scrum calls. Sitting on calls that you're not you are not required to be sitting on. You're just optional there. Sit on those. Observe the team interaction. See how people behave with each other. See how team work together. Right. See the dynamics in the team, so to speak. Right. Talk to team members, document everything, go through team documents, see what you can learn, go through the recordings from past, see what you can learn, right? That's called observing. You're observing the team, you're observing how they are doing things, right? You're observing how they are performing, you're observing everything about the team, right? That's the first thing. Observe everything. The second thing in this list is identify. As you listen, as you watch, as you think, write down those things. Identify the root cause problems, right? Root cause problems, identify them. What are the symptoms? Is it in the team? What are the symptoms with the individual? And when you identify them, discuss them with your product owner, discuss them with your team members to kind of come up with solutions. First the product owner and then with the team members, right? Discuss them, right? And I always mention it in videos. The most important relationship for a Scrum Master is the product owner. If you have a good relationship with the product owner, you will be a very successful Scrum Master. The most important relationship for you as a Scrum Master is the relationship with your product owner. Always remember that. Now, that's your backbone. Always remember that. Okay, now discuss your findings. Whatever you identify, right? First you observe. First you observe what's there, right? First you observe all the situations, all the problems. Then you identify them, right? Write them down on a piece of paper. What are the issues? What are the problems that are there, right? Once you identify them, discuss them with your product owner, right? That's the thing, right? Now share, right? Share them with your team, share them with your product owner, like I mentioned, share them with everyone around you. Kind of let them know this is what's going on, this is what I found out, this is what my observation is, this is what I've identified. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I'm a human, right? All those things. Share them with your team in their retrospectives or whatever, right? Last thing, after you have shared, after you have discussed, after you have come together on a conclusion with the whole team on your observation, on your things that you have identified with the product owner and with everybody else, right? Then you act on them, like we do in our retrospective. In a retrospective, what we do is we come together as a team, we sit down, we identify what we are lacking. Once we identify what we are lacking, then we work towards resolving those. We work towards how we can make it better, right? We work towards improving those. Once we do that, we decide on acting on them, right? We decide on resolving them. We decide on getting them done, right? And we hold someone accountable. This is the person that's going to get them done. This is the person that's going to get it resolved, right? Same thing here. Observe, identify, share, and act. Observe first, then you identify, then you share, and then you act on those things, right? That's the last thing. So OISA. So in the BCOM framework, we have discussed benchmarking, benchmark something, benchmark a performance, benchmark optimal velocity, benchmark optimal performance. That's benchmark. Now the team has to perform over the benchmark. Challenging. Challenge your team to push the benchmark further and further, further and further. It will improve the team dynamics. Okay, it will create some stress on the team. Stress creates dynamics, right? Second thing, right? Third thing, OISA. Observe, identify, share, and act, just like we do in a retrospective. Observe, identify, share, and act. That's the whole principle of a retrospective, right? Same thing you will do here with the individual problems, team level problems. OISA. The fourth thing here is motivation. Be calm, right? BCOM. Last thing is motivation. Now, how do you motivate your teams to do better? Very common interview question, right? Let me write it down here. How do you motivate your teams as a Scrum Master to do better? Very important concept. How do you motivate your team as a Scrum Master? Now, a naive person or a person that doesn't have any experience, a person that doesn't know anything, they might say, "Oh, I motivate my team by, transparency, by pumping them up, by sharing with them music, by sharing with them this and that, whatever bullshit," right? Experienced person, they know that motivation is intrinsic. It has to come from inside. You can't every day go in and pump up and pump up and pump up your team. It won't last, right? They will get tired of you. They will get tired of your pumps. They will get tired of your bullshit, right? How do you motivate your team intrinsically, where they perform optimally, where they do things on their own, where they do things like the way they want to, like the way they want to make themselves better or things like that, right? How do you motivate them? Number one way to motivate someone is that by getting them involved in the process. I always say, whenever there's a scrum, whenever there's a developer, whenever there's a tester, right? The scrum process is built to leverage the involvement of individuals, collaboration of individuals, right? How do you get them involved? Make sure during the retrospective everybody participates in what we can improve. And when they say we want to improve this and everybody's participating, it is your responsibility as scrum master to make sure that things get implemented and things get improved, right? That's number one. That's how you motivate people, by having their skin in the game, right? By pushing them to have their skin in the game. Sprint planning session. During the sprint planning session, when they're picking up their work, right? Make sure they're picking their own work by their own. They are the decision makers for their own work, right? That's why they will feel that they have more skin in the game. They will feel more motivated to do the work, right? Second way. Third thing, during the estimation exercise. Estimation exercise is a very powerful exercise. Okay, estimation overall is the most healthy or the powerful exercise that you can do in your team to improve your team, right? During the estimation exercise, you can make sure that everybody participates to give story point estimation to every story that comes on the table for estimation, right? That's how you motivate your team. The other way you can motivate is have a clear sprint goal, and every day during the daily scrum call, remind them of how important this sprint goal is and what we are trying to build together and what we are trying to achieve together, right? That's motivation, right? That's what you can do extrinsically. Intrinsically, they have to have skin in the game. That's how you motivate them without pumping them up on a daily basis. That's the last point here, motivation. How do you motivate your teams as a scrum master? They need to have skin in the game for them to feel motivated. Okay, that's the last point here. Now, the other thing that we discuss here is extrinsic motivation. How do you motivate them extrinsically? By focusing them on something common, something that the team is working towards, like a common project vision, like a common sprint goal, like a common thing they are building in real world for the customer, for the end user, like a clear cut defined sprint goal that can motivate them to achieve that sprint goal. When it's clear cut defined and when it's very well defined, very well written, a clear sprint goal will motivate the team to perform more, do more, to work towards it to get it done, right? When they're clear on what they need to do for the sprint, that's how you motivate your team. So let me write this fourth factor down here, motivation. This is the way you solve team level problems. Okay, yeah, this is the way you solve team level problems, and individual problems also fall in this category. Okay, so to kind of reiterate on what we discussed so far, to kind of reiterate on that, what we have discussed so far, right? Let's go over it from the beginning. The question was, the girl is in the scenario where she is a new scrum master for one of the companies in New York. She is facing a challenge where the team is not able to meet their project deadline, right? The team is facing challenges and they are not able to meet their project deadlines, right? And they're getting a lot of negative attention. They are not able to meet their sprint goal. They're not able to meet their project deadlines. And she's getting a lot of negative attention. Her team is getting a lot of negative attention. How does she resolve this situation? This is a very lucrative situation for a scrum master to be in. But first of all, you need to understand there are many reasons that a team is not performing, right? Number one reason is individual level problems, team level problems, management level problems. First, you need to identify what is the issue here. Is it a team level problem? Is it an individual level problem? Or is it a management level problem? If it's a management level problem, there are limited things you can do as a scrum master to resolve management level problems. If it's a team level problem, then you need to identify what is the team level problem. Is it related to team structure? Is it related to team dynamics? Is it related to team team kind of what was the thing that I mentioned, is the team process, right? Is it related to process, or is it related to team dynamics or team structure, right? Once you have identified that, you have analyzed that, then the last point that I mentioned is management level problems. You can't do much there. Individual level problems. If it's an individual level problem, then is it a skill set level problem? Is it a lack of motivation? Is it a lack of experience? What is the individual level problem that's here, right? That's what you need to identify. Now, before you do that, you need to also make sure that you cover your facts. You communicate with your management that there are some changes that are incoming. There are some changes that you're going to try to implement, right? And those changes can have a lot of resistance from the team members. So make them aware that you're implementing some changes now, right? Not only that, you have to be patient. Change in teams take time, right? It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of time. So you have to be patient with change. You have to be patient with people. You have to be patient with the process as a Scrum Master. Okay, those are the things we discussed. Now, over here we discussed how do you resolve this? First of all, you have to create a team analysis report, like we discussed here. A team analysis report for your management where you go into root cause analysis of why this situation is actually happening, right? A team analysis report of why this situation is happening and what are the reasons behind this, what is causing the situation, right? You have to create a team analysis report. Not only do you have to create a team analysis report, you have to resolve this problem using the BCOM framework. BCOM framework, what does it mean? It means benchmark, challenging, OISA, which is observe, identify, share, and act, and motivation. Now, benchmark. What did I mean by benchmark? Benchmark something that the team has to perform at optimal performance, challenge them to push further, observe, identify, share, and act, observe the things that are lacking after you challenge them, and then identify them, share them, and then act on them. The last is motivation. How do you motivate your teams to do better? Intrinsic motivation, we discussed. How do you motivate them intrinsically? By having their skin in the game. And extrinsic motivation is by by identifying what motivates them, whether it's by having a clear identified sprint goal that they are working towards. Okay, and not only that, some people are identified by by learning, right? Some people are identified by learning. Then you need to have some cross-functional team exercises where they learn, they build their skills, they feel like you care about them and things like that, right? Those are the things that you have to kind of do in this scenario. If you are placed in this situation, right? It is a very important video for anybody who is a new Scrum Master, who is stuck in a situation where they have to they're placed in a team where they have to make their team optimal, where they have to help their teams perform better, or an aspiring Scrum Master who is looking for a Scrum Master job, and they can be asked this in an interview, and they can answer some parts of this question this way, right? That's that for today's video, guys. If you watched till the end, you're a real one. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something and found value in it. If you did, give us a like and subscribe. Also, mentorship is down below. If you're looking for a Scrum Master job, don't get scammed. I'm the only person that can help you. Thank you so much for watching. Adios, amigos.